Hi, hello. In this video, we are going to learn about the improve phase tools and techniques, right? So, creative thinking, benchmarking, multi-voting, nominal group technique, piloting, and implementation plans. These are the topics we'll be discussing in this particular video. So, what is creative thinking? It's nothing but once the problem is understood and then root causes are identified and validated, now the teams can think about the solution. They are suggested to come up with the solution ideas, and every solution idea will be presented in front of the subject matter experts. Generally, it is like a kind of a presentation meeting where the scientists and innovators in that particular field will be invited, and then the project team will be advised to present their solution ideas. And during the presentation, the experts can probe the project team with questions, critical questions, challenging the whole idea of the solution. And if the team is able to convince the expert team, probably that solution can be considered for implementation. So this is kind of brainstorming only. However, the participants will be scientists, innovators, subject matter experts, right? And such people will be the participants who will probe the questions so that the existence of the solution gets validated. And these are the questions generally the experts would ask. Why do we have this process steps? How do we change this step? What can be altered? Can we combine some task? Can we apply some learning from other sources? Can we maximize impact of a certain aspect, right? These are certain questions. And then another important tool to generate solution is benchmarking. Benchmarking is nothing but professionally copying the best practices from our competitors, or not necessarily from competitors, from other organizations. So benchmarking is the process of measuring products, services, and processes against those of organizations known to be leaders in one or more aspects. Measuring your performance against that of best-in-class companies, determining how the best-in-class achieve those performance levels, and using the information as the basis for your company's target, strategies, and implementation. So benchmarking research into the best practices at the industry, firm, or process level. Example, to achieve improvement in their parts distribution process, Xerox Corporation studied the retailer LL Bean. So LL Bean is a retailer company. However, Xerox Corporation is such a big company. But though the process, a particular process which was executed at the retailer LL Bean is much better. And so Xerox has benchmarked their process for improving their results. So benchmarking is actually looking for the best of the best. For example, we can refer to the articles that are coming in the business awards and citation of merit, like Best Plant Award, Malcolm Baldrige Award, Quality Cup Award, Quality Management Award, Deming Prize, Fortune Magazine, Competitiveness Forum. So these awards will give a brief and explanation about the best practices for which the awards were given. Similarly, one can refer into academic researchers, and then they can use external consultants. We call them as exchange service. On payment basis, we can also get the benchmarking done. So the next comes the solution evaluation or validation, and always we try to gain consensus of the stakeholders so that the generated solution can be implemented in a better manner. So we have another technique called multi-voting, where the technique can be used to narrow down a list of solution to a smaller list, or we can also use the technique of multi-voting to select the best solution, right? And how to conduct a multi-voting? Initially, you can brainstorm to get a list of options, list of solutions, and then review the solutions, and participants now vote for their ideas that are worthy, right? And they can give different gradings for each and every solution. And if you are not able to narrow down on, if you are not able to select the best solution, probably you can identify items for the next round of voting by adding some conditions. Say, for example, participants can vote only for 50% of the options, and not graduate all the options to the next level. So likewise, you can narrow down the list of possible solution and as well as finalize one out of the solution as best one. And then another technique, nominal group technique, and this is a technique where which will work very well when the issue at hand is controversial, right? Suppose you want the opinion of different stakeholders at different level, like employees, managers, top management. It is better to conduct the brainstorming session in separate hall. These are called the silent room meetings, where the employees will be put in a separate room and then managers will be put in another separate room, and the top management, they will be discussing in a separate room. And finally, all the points comes to the moderator, right? And this is called nominal group technique. And the voting, the idea generation, and then their comments and everything, will be conducted in the form of a silent group meeting. So ideas that are most highly rated or can be considered as the most favored ideas. This is called nominal group technique. And of course, piloting. Piloting is nothing but implementing the solution in a smaller scale. So when we actually do piloting, the challenges which we cannot understand theoretically can now be understood practically, right? Because ground reality is ground reality. So always before implementing the solution in a full scale, a pilot study is performed, and then the new challenges are understood, and then the solution will be modified, and then only we go for the full-scale implementation. Generally, a full-scale implementation plan will include cost-benefit analysis, effective communication plan, training plan, and then solution implementation schedule, and then followed by potential risk analysis using FMEA. Once the solution is implemented, then it has to be again validated. And in order to validate, you can make use of these metrics, whatever required. Maybe once again, you can check the sigma level, the capability of the process, or CPCPK, or you can do a hypothesis testing, or you can do the FMEA to understand the risk associated. And of course, always while collecting the data, MSA can be performed. So piloting means the evaluated solution is now ready for the pilot. A pilot process is a test of a proposed solution, a trial run. And we generally perform the pilot on a smaller scale to make the full-scale implementation effective. And pilot provides expected results, exposes new issues and new challenges. And when can we use pilot? Whenever there is a limited capital, right? And to assess the true performance of the solution in a controlled but live environment, to identify the implementation tips and traps whenever the solution is irreversible or the implementation is a costlier thing, then it is very much advisable to go for a piloting. And again, when we are going for a full-scale implementation, there are different approaches like sequenced approach, parallel approach, phased approach, and flat approach. So flat approach in the sense, the solution is implemented in a single go. And for example, how the GST got implemented countrywide. Instead of going state level or district level, straight away the solution is implemented at a country level to overcome the challenges in the taxing issues. Same way, you can also implement your solution across all process, all departments, all locations, and that's called a flat approach. And sometimes we go in what you call the sequenced approach. Sequenced approach means solution is fully implemented in one location, and then implementation begins at the second location. Sometimes parallel approach, solution is implemented at 2 or more locations or 2 or more processes, 2 or more plans simultaneously. Phased approach means when a predetermined milestone is achieved at one location, then the implementation starts at a second location. So these are all the various implementation approaches. Any full-scale implementation plan will include the potential risk analysis, FMEA, which we will learn separately, and then solution implementation schedule, and when are you going to start, when the defined phase will complete, measure, analyze, improve, control, and like how we had the timelines for the entire project, same way for the implementation also, right? How are you going to implement a clear timeline, schedule with roles and responsibilities required, and then training plan, because you have changed the process. No, people have to be trained properly to avoid mishandling of the process and preventing the failure. And then there has to be effective communication plan. And since the process is updated, some mechanisms have changed, there has to be prominent displays and then to communicate the change. And always implementation should accompany the cost benefit analysis. When you are doing the cost benefit analysis, see to that you are projecting the benefits at least for on an annual basis. So in order to validate the improvement after full-scale implementation, once again you revalidate your measurement system and then collect data post full-scale implementation to evaluate the performance in terms of sigma level, CP/CPK, or any relevant hypothesis testing or FMEA. So what is that we learned in the improve phase? Alternative solution can be generated using tools such as brainstorming, benchmarking, creative thinking. In fact, there are different types of brainstorming exist. Like the one is creative thinking, the other one is six-card thinking. So these are all the style of conducting the meeting is different. However, all of them are brainstorming only. And then alternative solutions can be evaluated using tools such as multi-voting, nominal group technique, and certain prioritization techniques like Pug matrix. And sometimes solutions can also be chosen by analyzing the risk associated in it using FMEA. And then the selected solution can be fine-tuned for its implementation, feasibility, using experimentation and simulation studies. Actually, in order to fine-tune, the optimize the solution, some additional effort in terms of experimental studies are required. These are called designed experiments, which will help you to optimize the selected solution. A pilot study is performed on a small scale. A full-scale implementation plan will include FMEA, implementation schedule, cost-benefit analysis, training, and the communication plan. The improvement post full-scale implementation can be validated using tools such as sigma level, CP/CPK, hypothesis testing, MSA, FMEA, and so on, right? So that's it from me on the improve phase, and I'll see you soon in the next video with another interesting content.